So let's talk some Drew Lock. You know what? It wasn't a perfect day, to say the least. I really want to mostly focus on just the ending, the whole comeback, what happened, and really what he did well. That's what I want to talk about. Because again, with rookie, quarterbacks, or in this case, second-year quarterbacks, but still, he only played a handful of games last year, so he's pretty much along with the rest of the rookies. I kind of try to look for just the big things. What am I noticing? Not so much the little, smaller things. It's more macro. What are you doing well? That's just how I view these young quarterbacks when they enter the league. So first, let's start with the interception. So this was not a great interception. It's an interesting one, though. It's a very interesting one. So what I think happens here is that you see those two safeties right there. I'm showing you those two safeties because I think it's interesting how they've lined up. So you kind of see one is much further deep than the other, and I almost wonder if Locke just misread this play. What's going to happen is that, one is a lot closer, one's only a few yards off the line of scrimmage, the other is further deep, but this is going to be a cover 2 zone play. Part of me wonders if Locke just got fooled on this. I think this is what happens. Locke thought that this is going to be only one safety deep, and since he has a receiver running a deep route, this would actually be really good if there was only one safety deep, but since there is the second safety deep, if he throws it there, it might not be as good of a situation. Like, watch, once the ball is snapped, you notice that if you ignore the safety, right? Pretend he's not on the field, this would be a good throw to make. This could absolutely work out. The problem is that there's a safety deep, so now it's not a good throw to make. He's throwing it straight into double coverage, and it could easily get intercepted. I think he just didn't realize what coverage it was and read it wrong. He made the throw anyways, and it's going to get picked off. And yeah, I think he just misread the coverage, which, listen, it happens. And for a young player, I'm not going to kill him for that. I acknowledge that it happens, and I think that it's good for him to make these mistakes now and learn and grow. Let's talk some positives, because he made some jaw-dropping throws in this game. We'll start things off with this one. It's going to be zone coverage. He has a receiver running deep and another receiver kind of running in between. Basically, the way it works is that the deep receiver pushes the safety deep, then another receiver kind of runs underneath, so this way the safety can't crash in and make the play, but the linebackers underneath will still be in the area where potentially they could knock the ball down. And while this play is getting thrown pretty far down the field, this is a 3rd down and 16, so they need to gain a ton of yards on this play. Once the ball is snapped, this is not bad defense at all. This is good defense. I mean, you look at, there's 2 players in front of the receiver Locke is going to try and hit. So Locke can try and basically fit it through a mailbox in between those 2, but also he has to make sure he doesn't throw it too high, because that could be a problem. And of course, the other side is that if he just is off by even maybe a couple of feet, that could turn from a catch to an interception. So this is a very risky play. But when you're down multiple scores in the 4th quarter, sometimes you do have to take chances. He is going to take this chance here. But I mean, really, just watch this throw. It's perfect. I mean, that's a really high degree of difficulty throw to make, and he was able to make it right there. And so that's why I was very excited to see what Locke was going to do this season. And I think that's why a lot of people were very excited about Locke, is because, yeah, he might do a lot of things poorly. I mean, he definitely has his weaknesses as a quarterback, but if he can put it all together, he can make plays like that. This one's another one. It's going to be zone coverage. We're in the end zone, or in the red zone, excuse me. So, this is a good situation, obviously. There's a receiver running a route that's going to get into the gap in coverage. But again, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be a Charger player in front of him probably, and again, he doesn't have that much room. So for Locke, he basically is going to have to throw it in a situation where it'd be too high for a Charger in front of the receiver he's trying to hit to leap up and catch it, but not too high to where he just throws it out of the back of the end zone. But watch how he takes the snap, and again, this is just a perfect throw. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. I mean, if this was a video game and you set it on to perfect throw, this is what it would be. It's exactly where you'd want it. If you're a receiver, and there was a really low risk of that play going poorly because he made sure he got it above the player in front of him. So while it might look like it's just a good catch, and it is a good catch, it's much more so a good throw, I think. Later on in the game, this play would happen. This is with about 7 minutes left. Denver's down 10 now because they scored a touchdown, but then the Chargers got a field goal. So 10-point game now. And it's going to, again, be a cover 3 zone, and there's a receiver running over the middle. And again, these throws are not really, I mean, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's really difficult to thread the needle on these types of plays. Once the ball is snapped, you're going to notice a couple interesting things. So again, you see that the receiver is, he's cutting in, and there is separation between him and the defensive back who's past him. But you also look at a Chargers linebacker, the one I've circled in black. He's kind of moved a little bit over because he sees that there is a check down underneath, and he's looking a little bit, probably too much so, in that direction. So there is going to be a bit of a gap in between him and the player to his right, to Drew Lock's left, and to R closer to the bottom of the screen. Lock's going to take advantage again with a beautiful throw, and the safety crashed in and missed his footing, which allowed for the touchdown. And that's not a touchdown if Drew Lock makes a good throw. That's only a touchdown if Drew Lock makes a perfect throw, and that's what he did right there. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a perfect quarterback, but you know what? I don't know too many people who are perfect quarterbacks at his age. The guy's 23 years old, although he does turn 24 in 5 days, actually. So, or maybe 4 days. I'm not sure when I'm going to have this video out, but 5 days as of the point that I'm recording this. He turns 24 on November 10th. But, he's young. Yes, he'll make some mistakes, but his talent is absolutely there. There's no denying that. All right, let's talk about the game winner now. I mean, might as well, right? So, again, to set the stage, if you missed it, what's happening here is there's 1 second left, so this is the final play unless there's a penalty, and Denver's down 6. So, it doesn't get much more intense than this. This is for all the marbles. If it's incomplete, then the Chargers win. If they get the touchdown, then the Broncos win. And the play on the screen is what Denver is going to do here. Lock is going to roll out to his right, and there are 3 Broncos who are also going to go in that area and basically hope to get open. They kind of have all staggered. One's going to be in the shallow part of the end zone, one sort of in the mid part of the end zone, and one at the back of the end zone. So hopefully one of those can get open. These plays can be really effective. I mean, for the Chargers, they don't know if it's going to be a passing play or a rushing play. So if it is a rushing play, then they obviously have to be prepared, and they have to be aggressive at getting to the line and trying to make a play on the running back. And so that's usually why you want to run a passing play here sometimes, because the Chargers could be unexpecting that. However, once the ball is snapped, this is good defense. I mean, no one's open right here. You see, I've circled all 3 of the guys I'm talking about. The one in yellow is the interesting one here, though, because while no one is open, the flip side is that Lock could try and run for the touchdown himself. That's another reason why these plays can work out so well, and that's why they had to roll out in the first place, because it gives you that 4th option, essentially. The first 3 options are all passing options, but the 4th is run it in himself. So, for the defensive player in the yellow circle, he's basically faced with 2 options. He could decide to just cover the guy he's supposed to cover, which would make some sense, right? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. And he has help behind him. So it's almost like, how does he decide to use his help, the one player who I haven't circled in that area? Does he think that player could potentially run in and make a tackle on Lock? Or does he think that player would be able to come back, stay deep, and make coverage on the player who he's supposed to cover? The decision that's going to be made is that the Chargers player who is in the yellow circle is going to decide to crash in, surprise Lock, and try to make a quick tackle, or at least disrupt the throw, which would result in incompletion. After all, it is desperation time. And you know what? I actually think this is the right call. You have a young quarterback, and you're now relying on him to make a split-second perfect throw when he's not expecting to have to for this to be a game winner. So I think this is the correct decision to make. He is going to make this decision, but as you see, Lock just makes a perfect throw the second he has to. They barely get it in bounds, but they do get it in bounds. And also, on a bit of a side note, that one ref who called it incomplete, an all-time, I think, funny, incorrect call there, but good on them for getting the right call on the field. It was just in bounds. And, what a comeback, really. I know it was against the Chargers, and they blow everything, seemingly, but still an incredible comeback, and it kind of shows what Drew Lock can do when you sort of just let him sling it. I mean, he has one of the best arms in the game, so why not just sort of see what that can get you? At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.